Hello, everyone, and welcome to Q&A with Qlik webinar series. We're so excited to have all of you with us today to kick off. This is the first session of 2023. Today, we're covering Qlik Cloud Reporting, which will hopefully help those of you who are new to cloud, or even those who are migrating from on-premise managed systems and are looking for tips on reporting and sharing their analytics. This webinar series is a live question and answer session. You may have seen us refer to it as a live open door office hours. Essentially, we want you to be asking the questions by using the Q&A panel below. So feel free to start sending those questions in right away. First off, everyone is on mute, so you can see and hear us, but we cannot see or hear you. That's why we need you to type your questions in the Q&A, or feel free to add comments or resources in the chat feature. A survey link will pop up when this session is over. It's also shared as a QR code here. So please be sure to complete that. It only takes 10 seconds. We also plan to email this link out with the recording for everybody who is registered. You can go ahead and check out our registration page and sign up to get regular invites for future sessions. That page is also available in this QR code, so you can get your phones out, scan that, and register. But now, back to why we're all here today, which is Qlik Cloud Reporting. We just ask you to keep your questions relative to that topic today, and while we do have our Qlik experts on the line, we will not be able to answer any questions about specific open support cases. And now it's time for introductions. I'm Troy Rainey. I'll be moderating this session, and my role is just bringing resources and webinars like these to our users to help them get the most out of Qlik. I'll be moderating these sessions going forward with help from my colleague, Emmanuel Henderson. Want to say hi, Emmanuel?
How are you doing, everyone? My name is Emmanuel Herndon, and I'm a digital customer success specialist and focusing now recently on webinars and videos to help out with customer journey, anyway from the beginning to renewals, in between, to make sure that it goes smoothly and we give all resources to be able to help our customers be able to prosper with our Qlik products.
Great. And Katie Davis, Q&A's previous moderator, is hanging out here in the background to help us show us the ropes. She may pop in to help field your questions and respond in the chat. Do you want to say hi, Katie?
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to hand the torch over to Troy, who is our multimedia expert here in Qlik. You can still find me across all Qlik community forums, our support updates blog. And this year I'm going to work a lot on onboarding and adoption resources. So coming to you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Now it's time to bring in our expert panelists, both of which are frequent Q&A special guests. First, we have Andrew Kruger, a product manager here at Qlik, and Jonathan Poole, a platform architect. Let's start with Johnny, since Andrew's going to kick us off before we dive into questions. Johnny, want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. This is Johnny Poole, a longtime member of the Qlik reporting community, based in Toronto, and I've been with Qlik 11 years. Very happy to be with you today.
Thank you. And Andrew.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Kruger, and I am a product manager here at Qlik. I'm also in Canada as well. I'm up in nation's capital in Ottawa. And yeah, thanks for taking the time to join us today. And hopefully we get all of your questions answered regarding reporting and Qlik Cloud. So
Great. So Andrew, I'll stop sharing. And before we get to the questions, I was hoping you could start us off with an update on Qlik Cloud Reporting Roadmap.
Absolutely. So let me just get the right screen shared here. You got my presentation up?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so what I wanted to lead out the session was with, and obviously Troy indicated we want to hear your questions and get your questions answered, but I do want to sort of try and address where we are from a reporting roadmap perspective on Qlik Cloud and reporting in general at Qlik as well. As there's sort of a set of common questions that I get on a frequent basis. So hopefully we lead out with that and I address the big topics and then we can get into sort of the more nitty-gritties with your questions today. So bear with me. I have to read this because I will be talking roadmap content, right? So legal disclaimer. And let me get my screen, get this out of the way. Qlik roadmaps provide a general overview of our anticipated product direction. As of today, Qlik undertakes no intention or obligation to update or revise any forward-looking statements contained herein, whether as a result of new information, future events, or otherwise. The information contained in Qlik roadmaps is the proprietary information of Qlik and is not to be used for any reason other than to provide our customers, prospective customers, partners, and strategic partners with a general overview of our anticipated future offerings. Our roadmaps are not a commitment, promise, or other obligation on the part of Qlik to deliver any particular code or functionality. Furthermore, Qlik makes no commitment that any future functionality may be available as part of maintenance and support. Roadmap information should not be relied on making purchasing decisions, as the development, release, and timing of new features or functionality described for Qlik's products remain at our sole discretion. Thank you for bearing with me. This really allows me just to, give you today's look as I look at the reporting roadmap and the capabilities that we are working on. It really just allows me to be, just to show you some of that stuff and talk openly about it. So appreciate your patience with that. Let's move on to fun stuff. So then let's talk about sort of the roadmap and what it's focused on from a reporting perspective. So obviously, as Qlik customers, partners, you would be familiar with what Qlik's direction as a SaaS company, right? And that's certainly informed by the markets themselves. And the reporting roadmap absolutely falls in lockstep there, right? So we are focused on, the reporting roadmap is focused on maximizing customer investment in Qlik Cloud with support for a range of export, distribution, and our enterprise reporting use cases. And what I think is notable, especially for those that are coming from a Qlik NPrinting type context in our client managed space, is that we are looking from a reporting perspective to provide an integrated reporting use case support as part of the governed Qlik Cloud platform experience, right? So our NPrinting customers would be familiar that it was a standalone product. Obviously, it came from an acquisition many years ago, has had many iterations as far as the product and its evolution, but it's a standalone product. We are looking to bring the reporting capability to Qlik Cloud in a truly integrated type experience. So I do want to touch on Qlik NPrinting. And I just being really open, I get the question, are you shutting down Qlik NPrinting? No, there's no plan for that. Qlik NPrinting is our client managed value add reporting product. It supports thousands of our customers. And it has been an absolute workhorse for our customers in terms of being able to extend their Qlik platform to support distribution use cases, right? So we continue to maintain it. And Qlik NPrinting, you will note that there's SRs multiple times per year, and there's an initial release once a year to sort of ensure that that 24-month support cycle is bumped. So want to tackle that and sort of introduce that type of overview that really speaks to very Qlik Cloud focused around our reporting use cases and providing a like type experience for enterprise reporting in Qlik Cloud. Qlik NPrinting remains client managed. It's not connecting to Qlik Cloud. We are providing integrated reporting use cases in Qlik Cloud. So then let's sort of stand back for those that might not be familiar, and I'm starting really at the sort of basics here. For those that might not be familiar with Qlik Cloud and some of those basic distribution and reporting type use cases, right? So I want to highlight a couple of capabilities that we've brought closer to the business user. So one of those use cases that is available to any business user is the concept of a monitor charts. And in Qlik NPrinting, for those that are familiar, you could send out sort of static charts or burst out static charts of data, right? With monitor charts, it's a capability any business user can go into an app, a Qlik Sense app, and actually set their selections, right-click on a chart, and select monitor chart. And what that means is that they can actually self-curate their preferred charts from within their apps in their Qlik Cloud Hub homepage. And basically have their most important visualizations always front and center with the latest data available to them. So rather than go into your email box and look at yesterday's PDF, you can actually go in and just open up your Cloud Hub. You can look across your preferred charts and get the latest status on any of that data. Collaborative notes, I often hear of NPrinting use cases where there's a distribution of a report, and then its purpose is to actually generate a bunch of dialogue within a scheduled meeting, right? Collaborative notes is a capability that sits on Qlik Cloud that allows for that interactive, synchronous or asynchronous type discussion where a user can go into a Qlik Sense app, can take a chart with their selections, can drop it into a note, add their own narrative, mention other users to come and be part of the conversation. So these first two areas are not necessarily distribution use cases, but they're definitely capabilities where imprinting was used in the past, and you can actually empower your business users to start to engage a little more interactively and with more recent data in using these use cases. Of course, on Qlik Cloud, there's also data alerts. Okay, so again, in client managed, there's actually an alerting product, a Qlik Alerting product. In Qlik Cloud, there is a data alerts capability that supports a distribution use case whereby business users can go in again and just set up their own conditions for which they're notified when that condition is met in the data. And then, of course, there's the subscription use case where you can schedule, business users can go and schedule their own PDF or PowerPoint, as of our most recent release in December, or PowerPoint output of their Qlik Sense apps to their inbox, okay? And both of those use cases on the bottom support a share scenario as well. So especially if there's section access applied, business users can go in, set up a set of selections, and if they want to share that with other users, it'll be recipient data that's being delivered. So again, these are all use cases that more straightforward, simple distribution use cases that would have been solved with the Qlik NPrinting. And in the Qlik Cloud context, these are actually brought really close to the business user, allowing for those more complex centralized reporting use cases to be addressed by report administrators, if you will. So I do also have to, of course, mention that, hey, your export to data is always there. And certainly, you know, it's clear from the data engineering that I have is that, you know, it's a very common use case for our customers, our business users, that they need to be able to move data to Excel. And, you know, through Qlik Cloud in a Qlik Sense client, manual download data, and yes, formatting of straight tables and pivot tables under the, if you're using the background in text, color, expression areas or configurations, you will be able to retain that formatting as well. So I know this is a common question I get, and most often that data export is related to straight and pivot tables. So we continue to make this capability, to enhance this capability over time as well. So as we're talking about Qlik Cloud, one of the topics, you'll hear the topic of reporting service come up. And I think it's helpful just to anchor on what the reporting service is, right? So as a cloud architecture, there's a reporting service that is there that is responsible for image export and report format, okay? And through the native Qlik Cloud experience, we enable a number of capabilities that the reporting service used for that the business user can use as part of their Qlik Cloud subscription, right? The entitlement that gives them access to the platform. And you'll see that experience happen in image rendering and snapshots of notes. You'll see actually in an Inside Advisor chat, you'll see images can go in there. The reporting service is supporting that capability, download of images, PDFs, data, and also that subscription output to PDF and PowerPoint as well. That file export and report functionality that's available through the native Qlik Sense client experience. That's all part of the user subscription available to business users. Again, as we're providing an integrated capability for more advanced use cases, what we also offer is the ability to use that Qlik reporting service in a value add export and report delivery capability as well. And this is where you get into a more customized extraction of your analytics that supports advanced report composition. At the moment, that's PDF and PowerPoint. It'll support that more batch report type production and your system integrated use cases around from APIs. So, and there is from a value add service capability, we have a model within Qlik Cloud that supports those value add services, Qlik Application Automation, Qlik Reporting Service, and there are others as well, Qlik AutoML as well. So just sort of an introduction as to how you start to look at Qlik Cloud from a reporting and distribution capability. There's a number of native experiences that are available to business users, and then you can continue to extend your more advanced use cases as well with a value add service. So then let's just talk about that. The Qlik Reporting Service is a value add service that supports burst reporting and advanced distribution needs. At the moment, it's producing advanced multi-page reports from Qlik Sense apps, sort of a sheet-based composition, and we're gonna look a little deeper at that in a moment. And it's a public API that can be used really in two ways at the moment, which is optimally used with Qlik Application Automation, or of course, you can extend via system integration and APIs. And the reporting roadmap will continue to provide more capabilities in the future as well. So reports from Qlik Cloud at the moment are primarily are from a sheet-based reporting capability, right? And that's as simple as leveraging the Qlik Sense apps that are there and the composition and the curation of those analytics into, call it a dashboard or a sheet as you're comfortable, but the ability to then take those into a report format, right? And most simple use case, as I talked about in the subscription space, you can have an interactive app that's got filters and the ability to control the presentation of your app, and you can move that straight to a subscription within the native experience. So you can use those sheets as is, right? And when you move those sheets to PowerPoint or to PDF, you will continue to see those filters and the like be presented. And of course, those apps, if you're applying themes, those themes will come out into the report as well. I think there we go. So now you can take a step further, very common with our Qlik NPrinting customers, and we're continuing to see that on Qlik Cloud, is that where you have reporting specific needs, you may actually author an app that's specifically there to support that report function, right? Because your report is coming from the Qlik Sense app composition. So that's where you can actually get really tailored in terms of using an app for, in this case, using presentation and landscape-based reports. So that's that sheet-based presentation. And here, what the Qlik Sense client allows you to do is you can actually start to introduce a background image into the Qlik Sense sheet. It's allowing for a finer grained grid. So if you wanted to tailor that app for that PowerPoint presentation, you can actually use the Qlik Sense client in cloud to start to introduce some familiar branding and presentation that is more specific to the PowerPoint output. The common use cases that I've heard in the past from an NPrinting perspective is you've gone and you've created a PowerPoint template within NPrinting. It's really a replication of the dashboard itself or the sheet that you're using, and you're bursting this out. In this case here, you can actually go as simple as using it in a subscription use case, and you can do more advanced composition that we'll talk about in a moment, like looping and cycling and the like. The other use case that the customers speak to is actually going in and using storytelling and actually having an embedded sheet in storytelling and actually manually downloading that to a PowerPoint, right? Here in Qlik Cloud, you can use those sheets, you can set your selections, business users can set up their subscriptions, and they can schedule that to come to themselves. Again, in this use case, you're actually going and tailoring that app a little bit for that scenario. And I'll actually pull this one up in a moment to show how this is an advanced report use case. You could actually, for simple portrait style report presentation, you could use the Qlik Sense client, and you can flip the canvas to a portrait presentation, again, using a finer grained grid within the Qlik Sense client to have a bit more control over where you place your visualizations. Your theme support is there. And this is probably more conducive, well, this is more conducive to a PDF type output as well. So you're using a custom canvas within the Qlik Sense client for that type of use case. So when you look at those enterprise reporting use cases, the business user, as I talked about, they have the ability to do self-service subscriptions as opposed to needing a centralized report creation. Business users can tackle that. Native subscriptions can also be used as a burst within a section access context, right? So if you have section access on your app, and you can go in and use the subscription, even in the centralized use cases, you can actually create the subscription and you can share it with up to 100 people, and it will apply section access on distribution. Where you want to go to those more advanced use cases, burst reporting, you can actually extend the platform using Qlik Application Automation and Qlik Reporting Service, and that's where you can really do your full-on custom reporting. Burst reporting to supporting recipient data using column type reduction. You can reach users who are not on the platform at that point. You can read in recipient lists within Qlik Application Automation that you use in your distributions. More flexibility around scheduling and triggering reports. And of course, we get into those cycling and more advanced use cases. So for example, here, this is an example of, this is an automation that's sitting on the top right here. And you're going to go and you're going to grab the dimension of the country, and you're going to loop through and you're going to create a report for each of those countries. Okay, you're going to send all the sheets in the app for each of those countries. Another use case here might be if you're going to loop content within an app or within a report, you might want to have a sales manager overview, and then you might want to do a looped sheet per per sales rep as well. This is the more advanced capability that you can do with Qlik Application Automation. So that's sort of an intro and a reset of where we are today in terms of reporting on Qlik Cloud. What I'll do is I'll take a few minutes just to sort of imagine some of the questions that may come in. And I just saw one of them, so you're going to get that answer in a moment. So where are we going next? What you've seen here is you've got sheet-based composition, where you're leveraging the Qlik Sense client, and you're using the Qlik Sense client as that composition point for your reports, right? Absolutely. What our customers also need is they need a tabular type of reporting use case. So, and this is for those that are familiar with Qlik NPrinting, this is going to resonate quite strong. Really, the primary focus of the roadmap for 2023 from a reporting context is highly formatted XLS reporting, okay? And that's going to take the form of the Qlik reporting service will be expanded to produce Excel formatted reports, okay? The reporting service will be an API. There'll be an API that supports the ability to receive an Excel report template and produce the resulting report output, okay? It'll be enabled by, the authoring will be enabled by an Office 365 add-in that we're working on. And you can see that in the right-hand screen here. If we have time here, I will pull this up as a prototype demonstration because I've got that legal disclaimer there. But essentially what it'll allow you to do is connect to an app, and it'll allow you to, very similar to NPrinting Designer and using the Excel designer there, it'll allow you to connect to an app, bring in objects, visual objects for use in a report schematic, as well as bring in your table definitions for use in your report schematic definition as well. So the other aspect of what we are looking to do is, if you're familiar with Qlik Cloud and that Qlik Application Automation delivery of sheet-based authoring, sheet-based composition, that's a very advanced sort of programmatic type of presentation or control over your report task. We are also looking to introduce a native report task definition capability within Qlik Cloud. Okay, so sort of akin to what you know from an NPrinting administrative capability, but using the experience and design paradigms of Qlik Cloud to actually allow you to control the report tasks that use schemas, report schemas against Qlik Sense apps. And the final comment that I'll make on this roadmap item is that when we're building out this Excel add-in and this capability for the report distribution, we are keeping a close eye on the capabilities that sit within Qlik NPrinting and the Excel authoring there, with the intent of being able to support migration use cases, being able to bring your Excel report schemas from Qlik NPrinting to be able to bring them to the cloud, because there's a lot of effort that goes into authoring those report schemas, and we want you to be able to reuse those in the cloud where we can get the like capability supported within that add-in type experience. So this is the primary focus for 2023 in terms of the capabilities that will be coming to Qlik Cloud from a reporting perspective. So a lot of work is going on in the space at the moment. And as you can see, it touches the Qlik reporting service. We've got the add-in, we've got to evolve to a standard that supports those templates coming over from NPrinting. And we also have to introduce that governance type capability within Qlik Cloud, and also look at the migration path as well. So a lot of work to happen, but this is the real focus for the reporting roadmap for the year.
This is really great, Andrew. Thanks for that glimpse into the roadmap. And I would personally love to see the XLS add-in, but we've got a lot of questions coming in. So let's see if we can address a few of them first.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, first question is, will NPrinting receive the same new features as Qlik Cloud Reporting? And you've addressed that a little bit, but it's good to focus on that.
No, I'll be specific on that. So the reporting roadmap is focused on delivering new feature capability for Qlik Cloud. The Qlik NPrinting product that you have there today is the product you will continue to expect to use. There is no new feature development going on in there. It's a very mature type capability. We need to provide like capability in Qlik Cloud for those customers that are looking to get to Qlik Cloud to have that same type of capabilities. So the product you have in hand today is the one you can expect to continue to depend on, and you'll continue to see us provide like capabilities in the reporting roadmap to Qlik Cloud.
And there's a couple questions related to alerting. The next one is, for data alerts, is this at a load execution level or object level or both when it comes to alerts?
You're setting at you're triggering it on you're setting up a condition in the data. Typically, like when the user experience sends you through a visualization to actually like a specific chart to build that out. And you can schedule that to happen on reload or to happen on a specific schedule time. Most alerts come off of a reload. That's predominantly the way we do it. So.
Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of options there. People are looking for something a little more complicated. Thank you. All right, moving along then. A lot about the different options when it comes to exporting. You mentioned we're focusing on Excel. There's PowerPoint exports. Someone's asking if you can export to CSV.
Yep. Well, sorry, not yet. CSV is definitely on my list of things to look at, as there's definitely a need. A variety of use case pop up there, whether it's straight data dump. Sometimes you're actually trying to export a set of data that's too large for Excel. So we are looking at how we can expand the reporting service to support a CSV output as well. So that's considered roadmap, but it is definitely on the horizon and something I'm looking at.
Excellent. A next question is, are there API capabilities for native export of data and images?
Yeah, so go to qlik.dev. You'll see the Qlik reporting service, the public Qlik reporting service API there. And that's where you get into that value add type use case, but go look at the spec on qlik.dev for the reporting. I think it's listed. If you search on reporting, you'll find the public APIs there.
Yeah,
it supports
link to that as well.
image. Yeah, it supports image. Data is not public yet, but you'll see it turn public in as part of the roadmap.
Awesome. Okay, next question. Can you create a hidden sheet just for reporting purposes without the normally interactive objects, without creating a separate app for reporting?
Johnny, do you want to take a go at that, or do you want me to do that one?
Sure. Yeah. So you can have a hidden sheet. The sheet can be hidden through a variable. So what I would suggest is prior to using the reporting service to export the report, you apply a selection that drives the variable that would result in the sheet that you want, shown to be used by the reporting service.
I think it depends on use case as well, right? Obviously, if you want your users to leverage that sheet in a subscription, that's slightly different than if you're using it in an automation where you can connect to it directly. So again, explore, but there is flexibility to do that as well.
Okay, we have a next question coming in, and they're asking, can slide sheets and objects be modular, show/hide based on conditions?
Yes, they can. I mean, in this case, it would be you drive them through a variable. It's expression based in the Qlik Sense UI, and you want the variable to resolve based off a selection. So you may need data islands in your data model, so do the toggle like a Boolean data field in a data island. But as you apply the selection, it would change the variable and conditionally show different things in your Qlik Sense sheet.
Great. Next question is, how do headers and footers work? Is it an easy customization? Who wants to talk about setting up the sheet that way?
You'd be using, so there, again, within the Qlik Sense client, you're leveraging the Qlik Sense client to achieve that. There's a finer grain grid that allows you more precision, but you're using the existing objects to tailor that. So you do that on a per sheet basis. But the background can also serve as, if you have an image that you want to drop into the background, as you saw on that slide that I had, you could use that as well. So basically you use the existing Qlik Sense client that's in Qlik Cloud, finer grain grid, potentially background images, and you'll tailor it from that perspective. Again, it's going to be dependent on how many, like what your reporting use case is. In actual fact, you can, like if you think about a looped sheet use case, you actually only need one sheet that you're going to loop over, a dimensional set of values. So you're really just authoring one sheet in that use case. So that's sort of a brief overview there.
Okay, So, are there plans to change Qlik Alerting from a value-added product from client managed to embedded with Qlik NPrinting?
No. Qlik Alerting is a client managed value add product. Qlik NPrinting is also a client managed value add product. They are independent products. And no, there's no look to or plan to modify those two or merge them or conversion at all.
Great. Next question is about applying a global font. Can we default all reporting apps fonts to Arial at a QMC level? It's a good question.
I think perhaps through a theme, you could do this. So as long as your reporting apps have been assigned a theme, theme controls allow you to change the fonts.
Great. Is there any limitation of volume?
So that'll all be
PowerPoint
published.
size?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that'll be published. I think from a sheet composition perspective, at the moment, there is, I'm going to say a limit of 50 that will be expanded upon as part of roadmap here. Certainly with the PowerPoint, we expect that you'll be needing to have compositions that are much more than 50. So there is a bit of a bound there that will be expanded on. From a volume perspective, no. Again, as you're getting into expanded, if you're getting into advanced reporting with Qlik Reporting Service, you know that there's a set of metrics around how that value add is measured. The other comment that I would make is you do have to, especially if you're going into the advanced composition space where you're using Qlik Application Automation, you'd want to be aware of the file sizes you're producing, because if you're trying to send by email, you may hit limits from an email distribution. But of course, you can also send to file sources or cloud sources like a SharePoint or other cloud connected as well. So again, encourage you to check the documentation. There are sort of boundaries set up in different areas of the reporting capabilities. So do check the documentation.
Okay, thank you. What type of reporting distribution methods will be available other than push to email?
Yeah, so today subscriptions is being sent to Qlik users via email, right? As you go advanced composition in Qlik Application Automation or your own system integration, you have a bit more control. Qlik Application Automation supports that delivery to SharePoint or cloud, other cloud file stores. When we go to the native governed task control, we will be looking to also add some sort of file store direction as well at that point. So.
Great. Next question is about PixelPerfect-ish web-based PDF report design. I love that.
I love the ish. Thank you. So, you know, as I highlighted, the real focus for this year is to get that tabular reporting support. It's loud and clear. This is what our customers need, and that's where we need to go next. After that, I am looking to, from a roadmap perspective, I'll be looking to expand additional authoring capabilities within Qlik Cloud. A PixelPerfect library, sort of a similar to an NPrinting PixelPerfect library that you've seen in the past. I am looking at that as a strong candidate for the next authoring option within Qlik Cloud. It is an industry standard type authoring mode, so it's certainly high on my list of interest once I've solved that tabular use case.
Okay, thank you. Hybrid developments, will they need both solutions?
Johnny, do you want to take a crack at that one? Or?
Sure. So I assume hybrid means you're running Qlik SaaS and you're running NPrinting as well. Long story short is that if you're running NPrinting, you must have Qlik Sense client managed installed on a Windows server, and then you must have NPrinting installed on a separate Windows server. So if you have SaaS and you have hybrid, yeah, you need everything. If you're trying to do it that way. I would vet the use case, not something I strongly position, but I would vet the use case beforehand if you can with your Qlik team.
Okay. Next one is, are multi-page tables supported by reporting in the cloud? I guess it's all about what you can get on the sheet, but once I take that one?
So with the sheet-based composition, you're looking at which, more of a WYSIWYG type use case. So the ability to turn visualization into a multi-page output is certainly an interest I hear from customers, something that is a candidate in the future to be looked at. But I don't have a sort of a firm direction on that. Where you would, so today you could move that table to data, right, on a manual download to data. You've got the constraint of the visual presentation within an image or PDF. And then, of course, in the future, that Excel-based authoring, if it's a more advanced table type output, that's where you probably use that Excel-based authoring to solve that. And like I said, over time, we will look at an object turning into a paginated type output. We'll see.
Okay, thank you. When adding a note, who can see the notes? Everyone or just the one who's got tagged?
I like that question. Thank you for asking it. So notes today, this is Qlik Cloud. This is the collaborative notes on Qlik Cloud. Visibility would be on those users that are within a space. So you can mention someone, but the visibility is sitting in the space. Roadmap on this, and I literally looked at designs on it in the past week. We are, you would have heard that on the platform, we've introduced fine-grained support late last year. We are looking to bring that to notes as well, so that notes will have that additional control that if I create a note and I want the contribution and visibility of Troy and Johnny, that's all that will have access to it. So that is a roadmap item that you can look forward to in 2023 around collaborative notes.
By the way, these are great questions you guys are sending in, so keep them coming. This is great. Next question is from an NPrinting on-prem customer. What is the estimated release date of a full-fledged NPrinting replacement in the cloud? They're looking forward to moving to the cloud. However, they're heavy NPrinting users, and it's been a bit of a holdup on switching.
Yeah, I think you're gonna, that's not something I can state for you. You've got a set of business use cases that you'll need to evaluate. Certainly, you will be looking at how do those use cases, how can they be supported in Qlik Cloud? You can see the sheet-based composition. Many customers have seen the value of now, leveraging sheets as a composition point, but there's also those advanced authoring use cases like in Excel, which you can see we've got roadmap on. Then I'll be looking at other advanced authoring use cases. We've introduced the PowerPoint format that's on the platform there today. So certainly encourage you to look at your PowerPoint use cases. How can you leverage Qlik Cloud and those PowerPoint use cases? So it's not, you can't just stick a date on it. What you'll see is a roadmap around like capabilities that look to address the massive variance of reporting use cases that Qlik NPrinting offered, right? So the reality is when I talk to customers, no two customers are using NPrinting the exact same way. So it really starts to come down to looking at what's your business requirements around distribution use cases, how can the cloud platform, both native experiences as well as distribution use cases support me there. So.
Thank you. Next question, object font styles.
Well, that's really a visualization roadmap type question. I don't know, Johnny, do you have anything you wanted to add to that one?
Well, I don't know the context, object font style. You can, the engine properties in the user interface have some font control, but it's not pervasive to every single property. So I think I need a bit more detail to understand that. If not, a theme might work. But you can always repose a question with more specifics, and I'll try to answer it with more specifics.
Yeah, and I think actually I'll use that as a jump point to also comment that because we are leveraging Qlik Sense sheets as a composition point for some use cases that you can support in PDF and PowerPoint today, naturally, the visualization roadmap that Qlik is heavily investing in at the moment, we will expect those to continue to enhance the type of control and presentation that you'll be able to accomplish with your reporting use cases as well. So.
Okay, next question. Will
PowerPoint.
the add-on be available for Word or PowerPoint, maybe other formats?
I like the question. So again, that gets into are we trying to reproduce Qlik NPrinting in the cloud? No, we're not trying to reproduce NPrinting in the cloud. That being said, we do understand that there's sort of a wide variety of use cases that our customers have deployed Qlik NPrinting for. So let's let me target those specifically. PowerPoint is TBD in terms of we've released the PowerPoint capability in Qlik Cloud today. I want to hear from customers as to how easy it is for them to leverage that for their reporting distribution use cases, because it actually, based on customer conversation, it actually brings that format out of a centralized reporting function a lot closer to business users, right? So I'm looking for that feedback over the next year as to, is there really a need for that advanced authoring in PowerPoint, or is the PowerPoint format support that's in the platform now addressing those distribution use cases? Word, again, TBD on that one. Customer feedback will help inform that. Where I do see going at the moment after the Excel type authoring is to move to that PixelPerfect that would also address the portrait style documents as well. So again, all of this will be content that I'm collecting over the next year. Focus right now is on Excel. Potentially, we could be looking at additional add-ins for sure. I want that feedback. So, but it's not an automatic, because NPrinting did it, that we will drop that in. It's the opportunity to hear from customers as to how Qlik Cloud can support their distribution use cases as well.
Okay, next couple of questions are around multi-cloud and hybrid, but on multi-cloud environment, is it possible to run reporting in synchronized PRES cloud distributed? So some sort of synchronization there, I guess.
I wasn't sure about the wording of that.
Yeah, I was a little confused as well. I was hoping
I mean,
maybe you understood more than I did.
A multi-cloud environment, as our documentation states, is a Qlik Sense Windows server that is going to auto push apps to the cloud. NPrinting, it just connects to Qlik Sense Windows. So if the apps are available on the Qlik Sense Windows, you could do NPrinting reports off of that. And if the apps are in cloud, you could do cloud reporting off of that. So that works, one or the other you could do. I'm not sure if that answers your question though.
Hey, thank you. How to achieve the NPrinting report design tool capabilities in Qlik Cloud?
Yeah, so you will see the Excel add-in will be very similar to what you experiences in Printing Designer. I think you also have the opportunity to look at your use cases that you had in Printing Designer. Can you leverage the Qlik Sense app and the sheet composition structure that's there to support certain use cases? In the future, again, I'll be looking at additional advanced authoring modes that may draw some parallel to NPrinting as well. So use case by use case.
Great. Next question is, if the PixelPerfect design and Qlik Sense sheet, don't know the name of it, overlaying objects will be released, will it be supported in reporting service?
So I think this individual has seen a preview of the visualization roadmap, I think, and I believe that's what's being inferred here. Definitely, we are in lockstep from the PMs and the R&D teams are looking at the roadmap around visualizations and how those transfer to Qlik reporting service. So the intent will be yes, and then it's a matter of how and when we bring those elements to market, whether it's in parallel. Sometimes we have to deliver visualization to market that we may have some constraints around from a reporting perspective. It's not the desired path, but certainly that use case there is in early days, and I will be keenly watching that myself because it can be extremely powerful. So for those that aren't familiar with it, it's a roadmap item that really looks at, call it some advanced layering around object presentation with a Qlik Sense client that will, I think, dramatically enhance the experience of interactive analytics, and that we hope will also dramatically enhance that report output as well.
And the next question, I just wanted to vocalize it. John, you've already been on the spot typing some answers, but does cloud reporting support multiple app sheets within one report page? For example, 2 different apps and visualizations from separate sheets being shown on the same page in a PDF export. Can you?
And and what I answered in writing was that the sheet-based authoring, so it's currently 1-to-1. So if you have a Qlik Sense sheet, that will result in one PDF page or one PowerPoint slide. So the answer is no. However, we do have not only sheet-based authoring, but we will have object-based authoring coming, which will allow a better mix and match. And that's in the roadmap.
That was a
So
great
there is,
question.
I do want to call it though, there is a block in your QAA space that does allow a multi-app connectivity too. So you can, if you're using the QA side of things, you can pull sheets from different apps. So do check out that came out late last year as well. So again, depends on whether you're talking subscription or advanced distance.
We're getting near the end here, so that's why I just threw up the session survey tool if you'd like to tell us what you thought of this session. But we got another question just came in. The new report add-on will have a basic included version for current users and then an expanded license version. Just looking for some clarification on that.
So I think I know what this is getting at. So I'll reset your native use cases that are within the Qlik Sense clients. If you go into your Qlik Sense client and you right click and you say subscribe, and or you download data, that's available to any business user through their subscription. If you go to your advanced composition where you're getting into the Qlik reporting service API usage, Qlik application automation, and in time the advanced Excel-based capabilities, you will be looking at the value add service. And again, it follows a tiered model. So, and at that point, you want to talk to your Qlik representative just to get familiar with that as well, and also look at your business requirements as well. So lots of flexibility there as to how you move into that advanced range. It does allow you to tailor, to understand what your reporting requirements, your advanced reporting distribution requirements are, and find the right tier for that. Hopefully I've done well there, but do check in that space with your Qlik representative.
Excellent. Well, I don't see any more additional questions coming at the moment, so I just want to thank everybody for joining today. This has been a really excellent session. Thanks to Andrew and Johnny for being available and sharing with us. And just let everyone know the recording of this session will be posted on YouTube and in the Qlik community soon. I'm just pausing for any last second questions.
Got the clock counting down.
Yeah. Going once, going twice, and well, we really hope you come again. Please sign up to get regular invitations. There's our next session is going to be February 14th about Sense migration to Qlik Cloud. We'll be talking about some similar topics, and we hope to see you again. Thanks so much, everyone.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye now.